You know, it's Wisdom Wednesday, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is tell y'all basically the most requested subject that people kept hitting me up. And this week, it was basically the fundamentals on how to lose weight, okay? So what we're going to do is basically go over the types of ways you could possibly lose weight and what you want to look out for in order to succeed in losing weight, okay? So boom, everybody already know, in order to lose weight, what you need to do is eat less and move more, okay? But I feel like that is kind of antiquated. Why? Because a lot of people don't understand exactly what that means, okay? So just to put in perspective why there's such a crisis, obesity crisis right now, our bodies are not designed to eat 3 times a day, okay? That came about in the 1970s when the Food and Drug Administration basically created the food pyramid, okay? And they tried to create a new standard of eating because we had the abundance or influx of food nowadays. We didn't have food scarcities, okay? Not too long ago, if you go ahead and do your research in the 20s and 30s after the Great Depression and stuff, there were still civilizations like Russia or Ukraine that they had a famine where people were literally becoming cannibals. In the 1920s and 1930s, you can literally Google it. People were having babies just to eat, okay? So keep in mind, 100 years ago was not that long. All right. So, our bodies are basically made, they're survival mechanisms. Okay. So the reason why we store fat is literally just in case we don't have food. Okay. But now, guess what? We're in the 21st century. If you're a millennial like me, you've been born in a time where you can literally get food by pressing a button on the app. Okay, so we have no food scarcities anymore, and because of that, people are not fasting. Now, I'm not gonna be the person that say, "Oh, you gotta fast, you gotta do all that." I'm just giving you an example, okay? Because that back in the day, the average person only ate 1 to 2 times max that day. Okay, reason why? Because it wasn't so many breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just to give you some insight, breakfast only means break fast. So you can have breakfast at 3 p.m. Like I still didn't eat today. I'm about to have my breakfast at 2 o'clock. Makes sense? So what we want to do is kind of balance everything out. How we're going to do this, okay? We're going to either eat less or you got to count your calories, okay? So a lot of people don't know how to count calories. So this is what I will advise you to do. The first step to losing weight, you got to figure out how much your body intakes on a daily basis up to a week, okay? So what you need to do, download an app, maybe like MyFitnessPal or anything like that, okay? But what I need you to do, every single day, you need to track every single thing that went in your mouth. It's going to be a hassle for 1 week, but you're going to have to do that, okay? Also, you're going to have to weigh yourself every day. Why? Because no matter what, you're going to have fluctuations in your weight throughout the week, but there's going to be a set weight where your body likes, and you're going to see that. But in order to keep in reference to variables, you got to make sure everything's intact, okay? So let's say on the average week, I start at 215, right? What I will do, Monday, I might be 215. Tuesday, I might be 215.5. Saturday, I might be 216, okay? But at Sunday, what you're going to do is add up your weight, okay, every day, and then you're going to divide it by 7. That's going to give you your average weight. That's where your body likes to be at, okay? But you also need to track your calories so you know exactly how much your body actually intakes on a daily basis, okay? So the funny thing is, us as humans, we don't like change. So guess what? 9 times out of 10, you're probably around the same caloric range. Why? Because everything is based off habits. On Monday, you probably get your Starbucks and you go to McDonald's. On Tuesday, you and your coworkers link up, y'all go to Chipotle. You're going to do the same thing. So just go ahead and don't think about it. Just, okay, after you go to McDonald's, okay, I got number 2, put in your app, okay? Oh, I had a 16-ounce beverage from McDonald's, Sprite. Go ahead and put that in your app. You're going to have to put in everything or kind of gauge what you're putting in, okay? Because the more closer you are to what your average caloric intake is for the day, the faster you will be able to expedite your weight, okay? But you need to be as accurate as possible, okay? So if you cook meals, you need to put in your condiments, okay? And this is where people be messing up at when they're trying to lose weight. They're like, "Oh, Trey, I don't eat that much." But guess what they do? They consume majority of their calories based off condiments, sauces, and oils, okay? And I'm gonna give you an example right now, thinking about it. So boom, What I do, I buy 0-calorie beverages and I buy low-calorie beverages, okay? So what I have in my refrigerator is Diet 5, okay? This is Ultra Spray, this is the juice, and I drink it every day. You see this whole entire thing? I drink this. I probably drank this in the span of 2 days, but guess what, okay? So I know it only has 5 calories in it for 8 fluid ounces. Just to give you an idea of how big 8 fluid ounces is, around this portion, the second to last line of the cup, that's 8 fluid ounces. Okay, these cups, last time I checked, honestly, you could check on the bottom. They should still have it. All right, so this is a 16-ounce cup. So what do that mean? If I fill up this whole cup to the brim, I'm consuming 10 calories because why? 8 times 2 is 16, and this basically says 5 calories per, okay? But here's where people mess up. You see, this is the regular party cup that be in people's houses. That regular Ultra Spray has 150 calories in it. Okay, so 150 calories. So that means if you could fill your cup up to the brim and you know the average person is getting multiple cups of these, you just consumed 300 calories. Okay, so these are stuff that you need to watch out. But for that first week, don't be like, oh, well, I'm gonna cut down on my juice because you know you're a juice addict and you drink a lot of juice. No, do what you do so you have an idea of where your body's caloric intake is. Because here's the thing, the higher the intake is when you're trying to lose weight, the better actually, because you got more leeway to work with, all right? So, boom. What you also need to take into account, sauces, okay? So let's look at this sauce. It says for 40 calories per tablespoon, all right? Now, just to give you some insight, how big is a tablespoon? Boom. This is a tablespoon. So that means if I fill up this little spoon up and put it on my plate, that's 40 calories. People's not doing that. Guess what we're doing, okay? Especially if you're black and I'm black, we're doing this until we see enough sauce where it's all the way filled up, it's all the way sauced up, okay? So these are stuff that you got to take into account when you're trying to lose weight. But once again, these are habits that you could change. What I want you to do for 1 week, do all of this stuff so you have an idea of how much your caloric intake is. So if it's 2,500, don't trip. If it's 3,000, don't trip, okay? Lastly, oils, okay? So a lot of people say, oh, Trey, all I eat is salads. I don't know why I'm gaining weight. Okay, so this is why. So for 1 tablespoon, if I have to remind you how big a tablespoon is, boom, okay, 1 tablespoon. Regular olive oil has 120 calories per tablespoon, 14 grams of fat per tablespoon. Now, what are people usually doing at restaurants? They don't give you this. They give you the little thing where you can pour it out. You're doing this, okay? So you're probably consuming, your salad probably has 120 calories, right? But you're putting 600 calories of olive oil. And if you're doing anything like Thousand Island or something like that, that's loaded with calories. You're probably putting in 600 calories of condiments or dressing. So because of that, you might as well have had a burger or something from McDonald's. You could have had a whole meal, fries, a burger from McDonald's, and a drink from McDonald's, and that equates to your salad, okay? So these are stuff you need to keep in mind. But here's what happens. After you go ahead and have your average caloric intake, what you want to do now is decrease 500 calories, okay? Why? Because based on theory, a pound is about 3,500 calories, okay? So 5 times 7 is a pound, or 35, which means that if you lose 500 calories per week, then you will go ahead and lose a pound a week, okay? Even though I don't really believe in that theory, because I feel like that's a pound of oil equates to 3,500 calories. Our body is composed of mostly water, not oil, okay? So it's really like 1,800, right? But what you're going to do, once you do that or do it that way, you know you're losing good weight. Because once again, you don't want to really lose muscle. You want to lose fat, okay? And that's what it's based off, okay? So what you need to do, go ahead, track your calories for a week, okay? Now, you're going to either drop it by moving more, eating less, And don't equate, okay, so let's say if you're wearing a Fitbit or something, but like, oh, well, I'm burning 500 calories. That means I can eat 500 calories. No. So if you, after the week, you notice that you basically consume 2,500 calories a day, what you want to do is only eat 2,000 calories, but don't try to say, oh, I can eat 2,500, or I only eat 2,500 calories, or I only ate 2,000 calories because I worked out and my Fitbit says I burn 500 calories. You don't want to do it like that, because 9 times out of 10, it gives you a good gauge of how many calories you burn. It's not accurate. It's probably 10 to 20% off, okay? 2, you want to do some cardio. You just want to move more. So park your car a little bit farther, you know? There's something called NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which basically means you doing this, me messing with my nose or whatever, that is you burning calories doing all that, okay? But you just want to do little activities or make, you don't have to go to the gym. You just, okay, instead of me using my little, I just park farther, or instead of using the elevator, I take the stairs, a couple flights, just little stuff like that you implement. Or instead of telling your kids and making your kids feel like slaves, you actually get up and get the remote yourself. If you feel my pain, if you grew up in that type of household, you feel my pain, okay? So, that's what you want to do. Just move around a little bit more. You don't have to set a certain time where it's like, okay, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to do 2 hours of cardio today. I want you to do something that's consistent and you can do on a daily basis, okay? Also, lifting weights does not burn as much calories as you think. If you have a hard lifting session, just think you burn around 100, 200 calories. You're not burning more than that, because professional bodybuilders, which were not professional bodybuilders, after their hard session, they probably only burn 300 to 400. You're not working half as hard as that bodybuilder. So you just say you probably burn maybe 100, 200 calories. So if you've seen, you burn 400 calories on the treadmill, then just add 200 more calories on it, okay? But what you want to do is cut down your calories, what you eat, okay? So instead of getting that regular ocean spray, get the Dive 5 ocean spray, okay? Instead of getting olive oil, actually weigh it out, or don't put no olive oil on it at all, Or actually start going to the gym. And instead of going 1 time a week, try 2 times a week. Instead of 2 times a week, try to do 3. It's just these little things. Like for me, I only lift weights every other day. I work out 3 times a week, but I do 2 days of just cardio. I just sit on the treadmill. I'm walking on the treadmill for an hour, probably reading a book, probably doing my Duolingo, something like that. And so basically doing something productive. I'm only doing an hour, and I do that every other day. So in 2 days out the week, I do absolutely nothing, okay? So do something that's sustainable for your lifestyle, because ultimately you want to do it where it's almost fun and it don't feel like a hassle, because anything that feels like a hassle, you're more liable not to do it, okay? So to conclude everything, you want to track your calories for a week, all right? Track every single thing. You want to do a caloric deficit of 500, okay? 2, you want to move a little bit more, okay? And if you can, start doing some type of fasting, okay? Just to give you some insight, if there was somebody that ate the exact same thing you ate throughout the whole tenure of the day, so let's say you had a bacon, egg, and cheese in the morning, and then you had some Doritos at 12, and then you had some Chipotle at 1 o'clock, and then you went to Jimmy John's at 6 o'clock, okay? If somebody went ahead and had that Chipotle, that Doritos, that bacon, egg, and cheese, and Jimmy John's within 2 hours, so let's say only from 2 to 4, instead of having it dispersed throughout the day, they're going to be leaner than you. Why? Because they gave their body more time to digest the food. Every time you give calories in your body cannot burn fat into body fat. So that's why people in my program literally gets the fastest results, because all I'm basically doing is utilizing their energy systems that their body already has. They just got to tap into it, okay? And a lot of people on my program, guess what? They're not hungry throughout the day. Why? Because I taught their bodies how to utilize this body fat. So if you're not hungry throughout the day and you don't have any cravings, guess what's going to happen? You're more liable to follow the plan. It's that simple, okay? But I'm not saying you have to fast. What you want to do is at least move more, or really, really track your food, okay? And that's about it. If you have any more questions about it, just go ahead and ask me. I got y'all, all right?